I'm Tim Jackson, and welcome to The Truth As I Know It. I'm not really a McCain supporter, but I am fair enough to admit where I agree with people at. I'm not a Republican supporter. In most cases, I think that everything is way too self-centered, and this whole thing about people being liberal and this, that, and third, wanting to support everyone and hand out government money, make government bigger, is real interesting to me, because Republicans, on the other hand, want to legislate morality by saying that gays can't marry and abortion is illegal under all circumstances and everything else, where that seems like just what it is, legislating morality, restricting your own personal choices about what and how you govern your body, who you sleep with, and I think it's reprehensible to treat people in ways you want to be treated. If this was a Muslim state, which is not, I get that, but if it was, and someone was telling you that you couldn't practice your Christianity in the way you wanted to, you'd be offended, you'd be upset, you'd be fighting against it, and everything else. So to dictate your religion and your morality to someone else is still in the same way reprehensive. And mind you, I'm a Christian, but I think that one of the tenets of the Bible is that God gave us free choice, which is the reason for sin in some ways, in some parts and whatnot. But he gave us free choice so that we choose to do the things we want to do. And if God gave us free choice, then we have no right to impose more on someone else than God imposed on us. But yet Republicans want to legislate morality and say all these things that you can and can't do, and you have to be this and that to get our nomination, instead of what's fair and just for the country, what's fiscally responsible for the country. And all these Republicans who feel like everyone needs to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, and yet they cling to the Bible, but the Bible that I know is more about charity and helping your fellow man and helping those who are less fortunate than you. But yet I digress. One of the things what I originally wanted to say was that I agree with McCain on investigating government spending. I think there's lots of corruption, lots of mismanagement, not just earmarks, but gross mismanagement of government funds in general that needs to be addressed. Regardless of who it's by, whether it's by McCain, Obama, or anyone else, it needs to be addressed. I think we have lots of money left there that we have yet to investigate and pull back in those resources. A lot of things that they're just ridiculous, like all the no bid contracts that have gone to Halliburton and companies like that. It makes no sense that there's not a bidding process for a job, that we're not looking for the best price and the best quality product for a job, as opposed to just our friends get the contract. That's just bad business, regardless of what level it's on, much less to make it so much worse that it's on the highest level possible, that defense contracts and the like are getting no bid contracts. Some of the biggest projects the country, and in some cases the world, has seen have gone as no bid contracts. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. If you did something to your roof, you'd get an estimate from several people to find out who you wanted to do it. You wouldn't just say, well, don't even tell me how much it is, and to the first person you see, and I'll pay whatever it is you want me to pay. I'll pay 4 times what it normally would cost anybody else because I know you. That's really not the way that works. I don't understand why it'd be acceptable in government, but it wouldn't be acceptable in your own home. And yet Republicans seem to back these people again and again and again, and then they rail against it when it's brought up and say, well, that's the worst thing, it's the worst thing. But these same people are people that you support constantly. I hear a lot of people, denounce Bush now and everything, but yet they still follow the same policies. They still believe in the war in the same way, but yet this is the same person lied to you again and again and again about it. But yet you still support him, you still support the war, you still support the ideals of it, but the ideals of it, the tenets of it, everything that was structural was a lie. So you support a lie, but condemn the liar as if the lie was the truth, and as if a lie was the truth and the liar himself was an aberration. It just baffles the mind. I have no idea how to even explain it if you don't get it. Like, how do you keep supporting George Bush when every single thing he said about the war in Iraq was a lie. Yeah, like I'm just stuck. Maybe some of y'all can explain it to me. So maybe somebody can explain to me, why we're still there, why we're fighting, why all these things are still in play. Matter of fact, explain to me why in this case neither Barack Obama or John McCain said that part of the reason why the surge worked was because they were paying the sides not to fight, paying people not to shoot at us. It wasn't just the fact that we put more boots on the ground. It was the fact that the political climate shifted so we made it to their political advantage to align with us, as well as we lined their pockets not to shoot at us. But no one's mentioning that. John McCain keeps saying it like all we had to do is put more troops on the ground and everything will stop, which is absolutely ridiculous. And they keep talking about the war, the war, the war. It's not a war, it's a police action. We won the war. The war was nothing. We won the war just like the first time. It was over in little to no time. But the police action now, where we're actually holding the state, we're occupying their land, that's taking a long time. That is something different because you're not trying to. It's not a physical goal. It's not occupying or gaining ground, capturing territory, defeating an army, disposing power. It's now you're trying to win the hearts and minds of a nation and shift them in a different direction at gunpoint. It doesn't really work that way. It doesn't really work that way. We sit around and debate about what to do with their country, which is a little asinine because it's their country. No more than we would appreciate if someone else is sitting around talking about what they want to do with our country. It's ours to govern. It's our mess to work out. Because you find fault with another thing is that people talk about being patriotic. But you know what? That'll be for another spot. Anyway, this is Reba's favorite grand saying, just like the host, I hope you're doing better than good and better than most. Peace and blessings.